Good morning, welcome to a morning review on Thursday the 9th of April. This is Kim Watson speaking for Easy Trader. Okay, looking at the euro dollar first, and as you can see we're still in this, from a daily perspective, we're still in this relatively tight range, but we are now there's some sort of clarity in terms of the trend here with the euro dollar. After all this while we've been chopping all over the place, but it seems that we've now had 1, 2, 3 solid days downwards, and now possibly potential for the fourth. Now we do have some support areas below us, and the looking at the daily to the left here first, so you can see the support from the prior days there around about 1.70, well 1.718 actually, or 17, somewhere in that region. Actually maybe a bit lower than that. Let's check. 107.1513 even is the absolute lows there of recent time, although as you can see it was quite choppy in around that range, so there was buying support coming in there, or demand coming in there if you watched my video from yesterday. So we got the sort of a demand level there that obviously could start at any point from the prior sort of lows or closes here around about 107.40. So just looking at those sort of areas as possible targets and support areas. And if you look, it ties up nicely on the hourlies. The earlier part, it may be coming down to its S1 here. Now of course but we have got the daily pivot above us, so a break of this sort of descending trend line here could just see it coming up and heading for that sort of level. There is quite a bit of resistance around where that 500 moving average is. That's 107.87 actually. It's quite a bit of resistance around that level, so on an intermediate time frame. So I would be wary and wait for the break of that sort of level before I push up and look for the longs upward. So that's the euro dollar. The pound dollar, very tight range bound on the dailies still. Yesterday, so there's no specific trend here. It is, well, the trend is it's going pretty much sideways, and quite whipsawy at times at that. But what we've seen here at the moment, well, we're back into the prior sort of range that was sitting. In fact, it might be easier just to draw it on there. Back into this range that was sort of sitting along here at the moment, and we're in that. Ooh, I do want that second one. There we go. So we're back in that sort of range there now. A breakout of this, well, could see us back to those prior lows and maybe beyond. There's lots of different sort of support areas that come into play at different times here, so hence why it's quite a choppy picture really. If we look at it from an hourly point of view, maybe the simple point from my perspective here is looking at this 200 moving average support level. If we get a close below that level, I'm looking for shorts. We've already hit the daily pivot. It is getting a bit weak here. I'd be looking on the shorter side here, maybe playing down towards the prior days, Tuesday's lows there, and the S1, but there is quite a tight, big, didn't mean to do that. There's quite a big range between these two levels. Let's just check 160. So may not get as far as that, but if it does have a decent day, certainly actually in the scope of where it is at the moment. If it did break down, certainly in the scope of getting back down towards those lows and maybe down to the S1. So there's a possibility. So that's the pound at the moment looking weak. If it was to turn from where we are, it's a bit like yesterday. At one point it looked a little bit weak, and then all of a sudden off it goes, and it flew up. Now again here, if we see a bit of any sort of change in direction, personally I'd like to see it break above above the daily pivot for looking for longs, and then I'd be looking towards yesterday's highs in the R1. Right, that's the pound. So switch across to yen, dollar yen, and again another area. I was talking about this in our trading room yesterday. We've had these periods of consolidation and there's this whole batch of resistance that's sitting. Actually, now you could be drawing it somewhere around here, and it's just sort of sitting there as resistance at the moment. Now, if it can push that 120 area, 120.50 area, if it get beyond that area, well, then we've effectively got, it's a badly looking one, but for those head and shoulder folk out there, it's a rather funny old head and shoulder pattern going on here, which could see that in itself, taking it from that part of the pattern that's looking across to the left now, could potentially take us back to those prior highs there. So towards the 122 area. Okay, looking from a 60-minute point of view, and I've just put on the near-term resistance here, which is already sort of reacted off. If it can push beyond that way, I'd be looking on the longer side here. I really need it to test and break this area to be confident of going on the long side. There may be some setups on the shorter time frame before then, but a break of this trend line alternatively, and maybe wait for the 50 to be broken and close below that 50 for me to get on the short side, but at the moment it's looking towards the upside. Okay, let's just go to the Aussie dollar, finish off on the Aussie dollar here. Again, chop in the short term. Look, I mean, some of these daily bars here, where we just had we've got huge wicks on them. It just pretty sums up some of these days. And when you look at the 4 hours, it's sort of firing up and then pulling down and going back, going up, firing up, pulling back down again. But the one thing the Aussie's got in its favour to a degree is it's had this it's still got this rising lows and rising highs. So the higher highs, higher lows. It's still in a vague upward trend with lots of risk retracing midday, or late in the day. So there's certainly got the risk. It has eased itself back up again, and when you look at the intermediate hourly period, you're really seeing this sort of trend line that sort of wedge, should I say, that's sitting on the charts here. If it can break the upper side of that, I'll be erring towards the long side with a potential yesterday's highs, the R1 sort of area as a target. Alternatively, if it continues in this sort of descending, there's a sort of descending channel running across here. If you copy the lines across, continues down towards here, maybe it will get back down to this level of support, which is sitting around its S1 and these prior lows here in the 200. Quite a nice break there, but bearing in mind it's quite bullish relative to the other markets at the moment, it needs to break the trend line here for me to be looking for the short side there. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. Now, today news-wise, we haven't got too much coming out until midday. There's some sort of low-level data coming out, which in the current markets may just give us a fraction of volatility. But midday, we got the official bank rate in the UK, interest rate statement, etc., and the MPC statement. If it happens, I can't see anything adjusted or changing here, purely on the fact that much has been already said. It is into the election campaigns going on at the moment, and I think it'd be quite bad policy to actually change anything during this period. I don't think there's ever been changed whilst the voting or whilst the campaigns are on. So it's got almost like a 0% chance of being changed. I think there's almost a 0% chance of any statement coming out which is going to be differing from anything that's previously been said. So that may be a damp one at 12 o'clock, but we'll see. There might be a bit of volatility around that. After that, there's really very little unemployment claims. Maybe a little bit more focus at 1:30 in the US. After last week's poor non-farms, people might start focusing on the weekly figures a bit more. Okay, that's it for me. Hope you have a great day. Bye for now.